Testing, one, two, three.
Good evening, everyone. So nice. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Morristown Board of Education. The regular meeting of the Morristown Township Board of Education is called to order. This meeting is called in conformance to the Open Public Meetings Act with adequate notice provided as follows. Notice filed in the Courier Post on July 3rd, 2020. Notice filed in the Burlington County Times on July 3rd. Can I please have a moment of silence?
Here. Dr. Schneider, here. Here.
Here. Thank you. We were in executive session. Moving on to the minutes. Approval of the minutes. The following minutes from April 27th, 2021 executive session and April 27th, 2021 regular meeting. Please have a motion. Thank you. Second. All in favor? Aye. Any noes? Any communications the board would wish to share that hasn't been shared already? Guess not. Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. It's so great to see everyone in person. Finally, I'm so happy to be here. Just so everyone knows, there are agendas at the back if anyone wants to grab one on the table at the back. We also do have an overflow room in the media center, but it looks like we have plenty of room here tonight. So thank you all for coming out. It's great to see everyone. I did want to remind everyone that we are live streaming tonight. For those that can't make it, you could still view remotely, and hopefully we have a number of people doing that as well. Thank you to Jeff Ari for working on getting us here tonight. There was purchasing of cameras and a lot of tech stuff that needed to be done setting up for this live streaming. So we appreciate that. And James, thank you for all your help in setting up the larger space so we could accommodate so many people. Thankfully, as everyone has heard me say, we are confidently planning a return to full day in-person school in September. The administration, the principals, teachers, staff, board members have all been committed to this, having our students back full time in the fall. Although there are some details, some COVID protocols that we still need to kind of determine, and we'll see what's based on the health guidance at that time, but planning is underway for a safe return. And James Heiser, our business administrator, who oversees transportation and food service and custodial and a whole bunch of other things, obviously, are among the areas he covers. And Dave Tate, our director of special education, which also oversees nursing, which are the two key areas that we're going to be focusing on for September. They will be giving a short presentation later today just to kind of get the sense of where we are at this point. Additionally, just so everyone knows, the board is working to find an interim superintendent to serve the district beginning July 1st. As everyone knows, Dr. McCartney is retiring. Also, unfortunately, Dr. McCartney could not be here with us tonight, so Dr. Gibson was nice enough to fill in for him tonight, so thank you, Dr. Gibson. We have a very strong central administration and building administrators, and our interim superintendent is really going to just assist them with the transitioning to a permanent superintendent, as well as a lot of the things that our administration is currently working on. And that's why I just wanted to mention that James and Dave has already taken on that role of the return to school. So as we are not probably going to have an interim until July 1st, I wanted to make sure that you all knew that the process was occurring. So we did interview some potential candidates during our executive session last week. We are still in the review process. However, we do expect, hopefully, to have an interim superintendent appointed by June 15th, hoping if everything goes well. So at this time, we also have an inquiry out to a request for a proposal. Actually, I think it is closed, to find search firms to help us in the permanent superintendent search. And that is going to be a much more, with the support of the chosen firm, we will be conducting a full search for a permanent superintendent, which will be much more extensive, inclusive of, there'll be all different stakeholders involved, parents, students, community members. So we'll be interviewing firms, I believe, next week in executive session. Our next meeting, just to let everyone know, is June 15th. Our regular meeting next is June 15th. And I think that's it for my report. Yep. No, that's okay. And that's it for now. So I will let Carolyn go with the superintendent's monthly report.
Hey, good evening. I have a little different voice from Dr. McCartney, so I won't sound like Dr. McCartney this evening. I probably won't be as long as Dr. McCartney this evening either. So what I would like to do first off is to welcome our new Director of Curriculum Instruction and Innovation, Dr. Karen Benton. Dr. Benton comes from us with a lot of expertise. She'll begin on July 12th, and she'll start right from the beginning. She'll come in running. So she'll be coming in and out as she leaves her other position from her other district, and she'll be in the district throughout the summer. So again, welcome, Dr. Benton. Look forward to you being here with us. Okay, next on our report will be our 2021 Student Safety Data Systems Report, Period 1, and that's going to be a presentation by Assistant Principal for WAMS, Sherry Caravano.
you mind using the mic just for the live stream? Thank you.
Okay, moving right along. The September 2021 framework, as far as how we're going to look in September, is going to be presented to you by Dr. David Tate and James Heiser. This is going to be the foundation for making sure schools open up in September with the full day, all day circumstance. So you will have that, and then we'll be able to give you the full details afterwards.
So, good evening, everyone. I'm so glad I don't have to check my background right now. in my room. So I'll wait for Jeff to So tonight we're going to present some information regarding the opening of schools in September 2021. And it's certainly been a collaborative effort with administration and principals and teachers and other staff member and cabinet, James Heiser, Carol Butler, Dr. Gibson, and Jeff Airy. And certainly there's some more things to do, but let's jump into it right now. You can go to the next slide, Jeff. So there are some guiding principles and documents that we will be using, obviously. The main one that we are waiting on is the Safe Return Plan that is being released by the New Jersey Department of Education. And we expect that, or it will be released on May 24th, which I believe is next Monday. So that document is a template that all districts must use and must fill in and must submit and must get approved by the Department of Education and the Board of Education. So we're waiting on that guidance. We don't know exactly what is in that template, but we have a pretty good idea because we've been down this road and we have filled in various forms for the state. So we have a pretty good idea of what we'll be putting in there. And those are some of the things that we'll be talking about tonight. Other guiding documents and principles, of course, we use CDC guidance and the Jersey Department of Health guidance. It also includes the Burlington County Department of Health. And if you are listening to the governor every day, making a new statement, even just yesterday, he talked about how all students will be back in person, full-time instruction starting September 2021 with, as far as remote learning, he's saying there will be very few options for that to occur. So looking at our school day when we return in September, it will be the same school schedule that we had pre-pandemic. So your lower elementary schools will come in at 8:40 and dismissal will be at 3:35 as it was previously. And you can follow the schedules there. For the other schools. There will be, as we have now, 3 feet of physical distancing, but the instructional minutes throughout the day will remain the same. Lunches may look a little bit differently. James will talk about that in a second, but the core of it is that the instructional minutes will remain the same. When we take a look at the elementary classrooms, you know that sometimes they can be very tight. We had to remove a lot of things from those classrooms to have the kids in there with 3 feet of social distancing. So we're really trying hard to limit that class size to around 22 or 23 so we can make it look more like an elementary classroom again. So maybe have a class library or a reading area or things along those lines. So we're trying to make that happen. I'll pass to James.
Thank you, Dr. Tate. Thank you for all those in attendance, live and in person. As Dr. Tate alluded, this truly has been a collaborative process with our cabinet, our building administration level, all of our administrators, our Morristown Education Association, and our Administrators Association. So thank you to all those involved in that process. Obviously, reopening schools full day, the number one question from an operational standpoint is lunch and how are we going to do that? So we have taken a look at that. As we plan, we're planning right now with the guidance that we have in our hands right now, with the thought process that as further guidance becomes available or it gets adjusted, it is only going to get easier for us and we will be able to accommodate more students in the spaces that we have. So right now, what the lunch would look like is, in order to accommodate physical distancing of 6 feet, which is the recommendation that exists right now, and again, we have adjustments will be made as guidelines are updated. We would have to put additional lunch periods in certain areas to accommodate that physical distancing and to be able to utilize our cafeterias. We also may have to utilize large spaces. What do I mean by large spaces? I mean spaces, what we have done is we've identified spaces in the district where we need additional space for seating, for capacity, with dedicated HVAC that's not branched to other rooms during lunch. It's dedicated to that one room with upgraded filtration and high exchange rates. We're turning over the air with outside air multiple times in an hour. So that's what that means. Our sanitization, we know we have a pretty good idea of what that looks like. We've been operating all year, doing our disinfectant procedures and our sanitization procedures. So we have a pretty good idea of what that looks like. Our frequently touched areas, that's all built into our daily plans as they exist now. Transportation, we're going to physically distance where practicable. The recommendation is that currently, where we cannot, masks will be required. The windows on the buses will be cracked or down to increase ventilation. And then we have assigned seating for contact tracing. Next slide, please. I think I'm going to turn it back to Dr. Tate.
Okay, thank you. So on to some contingency plans. So quarantine, my favorite topic. So quarantining, for September 2021. If there's a situation where a student needs to quarantine, and some of you may have had this experience this year, whether it be for when you return from travel or if you're a close contact, we will be able to have students log into their classroom synchronously for pre-K through 12. Students will be invited into the classroom to participate via Zoom or Google Meet. We know that's a little more challenging at the K3 level. We plan to deploy or have available to us paraprofessionals to assist with that quarantine situation and that online learning. And the quarantine also, and I had mentioned travel. It isn't if you are on the beach and you're going to log into your classroom. That's not what we mean. But if you are quarantined for a reason that is approved by the school, then you would be logging in when you return. Hopefully, we're not dealing with quarantine in September. Yeah. So in the event, hopefully in the unlikely event that we have a mandated school closure, whether it be by the governor or if it's the Burlington County Department of Health or whatever it may be, we are prepared to go into a full remote learning situation. We've learned a lot this year. Based on what we know now, we will be able to go into that, we believe, right away. Elementary, pre-K to 6 schedules would work on a 5-day-a-week schedule, obviously 9 to 3, and secondary would be in session from 8:30 to 2:30. And what you're looking at there is, a shortened lunch period, and your class period shortened a little bit as well. This will allow for contractual hours and obligations to be met and allow for some additional planning time. As we know, planning time for remote learning takes a lot longer.
So, continuing transparency and communication, moving forward on May 24th, that is the date that we have been given by the state that this safe return plan template will be made available. We're hoping that it's early on that day and not late on that day because time is of the essence. So on May 24th, that will be made available. On May 25th, we will have a sign-up sheet that will be circulated for a parent forum that will occur virtually on June 2nd to discuss the plan. That week of May 24th, it's kind of going to be fast and furious. Obviously, with that template being made available, we think we have a pretty good idea what that template is going to contain, and some of it would overlap to what we have going on this year, our cleaning, sanitization, all that sort of stuff. So more to come on that. June 15th, the plan does require board approval. So June 15th, at a regular scheduled board meeting, the plan would be included on that agenda for board approval. And August 18th, we would utilize that board meeting to ultimately communicate any changes to that plan based on changing guidance from either CDC or the Department of Health. And then September 8th, that's obviously the big day. That's the big day we return 5 full days of school for the 21-22 school year. from the board this time. Yeah, so the one thanks, Jeff. The one area where we do believe additional lunch periods will be needed is at the high school level. Um, Drew, I don't know if you'd like to touch on that or.
And then in terms of masking, and hopefully New Jersey will catch up to the rest of the country and won't require masks for vaccinated people. But, you know, especially for younger students that may not be eligible for vaccines, has there been any thought yet to having mask breaks for those students that and staff, frankly, that would have to wear masks during the day?
Yeah, I do believe that mask breaks are given now, currently. So, certainly something that we would include for next year, but hopefully we won't need them.
Any other questions from the board?
Other board members?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dave and James. I know this is above and beyond what you're normally doing, and you're working 24/7 practically on all of this. So we do greatly appreciate it. I did want to mention, James, I think our board meeting on it's August 17th, not 18th, just so you know. Thank you very much. Our next, we were supposed to have the Unsung Heroes presentation, but unfortunately Drew is not here tonight, so we will do that next month. And that completes the report. Great, thank you, Dr. Gibson. We are ready for our student reports. Nice and quick tonight. So thank you for being here in person. I guess if you want, you want to go to the mic.
Hi everyone, my name is Carrie Patricky and I'm the Senior Liaison, and I am so excited to speak today because we have so many fun events coming up, and I'm just beyond thankful that my senior year is ending with some sense of normalcy. So first up is senior trip. We leave for Universal Studios this Saturday, and a little less than half the class is going this year, which is exciting because it's like a small group and we'll be spending a lot of quality time together. We're all really looking forward to it. We're going to Busch Gardens for a day. We're going to Disney for dinner for one night, and we just have a lot of fun stuff planned. We're going go-karting and all sorts of good stuff. So my Harry Potter t-shirt came in today. I'm really excited about it. Mr. McGuff and I are planning on taste testing every type of butterbeer in the same day, so that should be exciting. And then the other final portion about that is that now finally fully vaccinated students do not have to quarantine upon return. So spring athletes no longer have to miss as much as their playoff seasons as they originally were expected to if they are vaccinated. And that's really exciting for them because many of them are playing these sports competitively for the last time. So next is prom. Junior and senior prom, it's combined now, which is different than last month, which is exciting and just shows how quickly things change these days. It's now taking place on Wednesday, June 16th. And you are now permitted to bring guests from other grades and from outside the school district, which is exciting because I know a lot of people were waiting for that. Prom tickets will be $85 a person and can be purchased hopefully by the end of the week in Genesis, and then there will be a separate form for dates from outside of the district to fill out. And planning has been going great. The students, especially myself, have been heavily involved in the planning to ensure that the class of 2021's one and only prom at MHS will be one to remember. And even though it is in the parking lot, I am so excited because we just have so many cool things. Like we have a red carpet and we have the food trucks and all this stuff that no other prom has ever had before. And like I was fortunate enough to go to prom sophomore year, and this is just going to be totally different. And I'm so excited. And of course, it's my senior year, so I'm just really looking forward to it. And then that last week of school, along with prom, we have a ton of fun things taking place. Monday is the last day of formal instruction. I think that's June 14th. That's the last day of formal instruction for MHS students, and that is also senior recognition night. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of that week are going to be an elongated pep rally, which typically happens in the fall for MHS students. So Tuesday we have pep rally, and then we have our senior picnic, which is something that takes place every year. And then at night we have outdoor movie night, which we've been trying to get together all year, so it's so exciting that that's finally happening. Wednesday is pep rally, and then we have prom from 7 to 10 that night. And then that Thursday is also pep rally and some other SEL activities. And then, of course, that Friday, the 18th, a month from today, which is so terribly sad, is graduation. Wow. And then pep rally, which I just said will be broken up longer than usual just to allow like for social distancing, will take place in the stadium. Every grade is getting their typical colored shirt. I just filled out my t-shirt form today. So that's exciting because like, as a senior, you look forward to getting your black senior shirt with your name on the back. So all of that is happening, which is just so amazing because in the fall, it just really did not look like stuff like this was going to be able to happen. And we are hoping that people will be able to spectate each event if you're not participating in it, but that is still TBD, of course. And our cause that week is Fighting for Maddie, and she is a junior at MHS that's been diagnosed with brain cancer. So one of our SEL activities during that last week of school will be a 5K run/walk in support of her. And then the proceeds from our t-shirt sales for the freshman through junior classes will also be going to support her cause. So that's really exciting that we get to do something for one of our own students. And then graduation will be in person with the entire class in attendance at the same ceremony, which is just so awesome because we get to do one last thing together as a class. And each student will be allowed 4 tickets for their family to attend, which is typical. So it's like so incredibly normal, and that is so amazing. And Project Grad is happening this year, and that will take place following graduation as well. So all the seniors are just really looking forward to the next month of super fun events. And I feel like I can speak on behalf of the senior class when I say that we are just so thankful to have this stuff. We're so thankful that the school has been working so hard to make sure that we have some sense of normalcy to end our senior year. And finally, it is quite bittersweet to say that this is my last meeting. So next month, I will be setting up movie night and taking part in that long week of senior activities leading up to graduation that we're so thankful to have. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank the board for letting me speak for these past 3 years. It's been such an incredible opportunity, so I'm so thankful to be a part of this. And I also want to thank Ms. Trapani, of course, for giving student council members this opportunity, and for Ms. Warren for believing in me. And she was so lovely to gift me this opportunity sophomore year, and I was absolutely terrified. And she listened to me stress out about it for 3 years since then. But I'm so thankful that you made me do this because it is my favorite thing ever. And I'm confident that I'm leaving you in good hands with the underclassmen, but I'm definitely going to miss this. So just thank you so much for this opportunity and for listening to me speak for these past 3 years. So thank you.
I just have to say before I know Claire is going to go, but just thank you, Kara, for your positivity and your energy, and even through the virtual world and in person. It's always great to have you here and have you speak. So we wish you the best and have fun in Florida. And we wish you the most normal graduation that all the students can have. So thank you for being here with us. And we love all of you too, but just had to make that comment to Kara because she's leaving, unfortunately.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Claire Hearn, and I'm the junior class liaison. As you can see from Kara's very long presentation, there is a lot going on in student council right now. I would definitely like to thank our advisors for helping us and guiding us through this chaotic time. We are rapidly approaching prom, as Kara talked about. My mom and I are helping out with decorations, and we are planning on making 3 to 4 chandeliers to hang in the tents to fit the color scheme of pink flowers, and we're working on that, so we'll see how they turn out. And currently, Student Council is planning a spirit week for the last week of school, and this will consist of split days containing pep rally and SEL activities. which Jack will also talk about. And our foundation is the Fight for Maddie, Fight Like a Girl. And the junior class is working on a specific junior SEL activity. And we decided after forming a committee to talk to just some general junior class volunteers, we decided to host a career fair over Zoom. So we're really looking forward to that. I don't know if any of you know what Peloton is, but I'm an avid Pelotoner. So I actually DM'd 3 of my favorite instructors. So we'll see if they come. I will keep you updated on that. Jess Sims, Bex Gentry, and Adrienne Williams. I can give you the link if you want to have a little Q&A with them. They're pretty cool. And I also perform the musical and madrigals. And we just finished performing our musical. It was Dear Edwina. It was at Baker Elementary School. It was free to the community, but we also had a live stream for $5 a device. And not to flex, we had international viewers of the live stream. They were my grandparents in Canada, but that's less important. It was a really great opportunity in this really difficult time, and I'm definitely very thankful to the HARS and to administration and just really helping us get through it all and putting just an amazing and incredible amount of effort into something that we all love very much and is the best part of the year. So thank you very much, and on to Jack.
All right, hi, my name is Jack, and I'm the Student Council Representative for the freshman class, and I'm here today to briefly update us on the SEL Day planned for later for this year. The Student Council is working on developing plans to present social and emotional learning activities for the last week of school. The Social Emotional Learning Day will be somewhat similar to one in the winter that we had, and since the winter one, we ran a survey to see which activities events students attended and enjoyed the most, and we adjusted this one to be more enjoyable and connected. We took suggestions and feedbacks from students that attended the last to improve this one. Each class will present on different topics and create activities for each homeroom. And these social emotional topics will try to cover things students face or have to maintain in their everyday lives and help inform students about the said topic. We believe that is an important chance to give students a break from regular school and connect them socially and emotionally, as the name suggests. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. We truly, truly appreciate you being here, and a lot of time for me. I know this is the highlight a lot of times of the meeting, so thank you for being here. I'm sure a lot of us feel that way as well. It gives us a connection to the schools and the students, and that's always so important. So thank you. I know this has been a long year and a hard year for you too, especially all of you. So thank you for putting in the extra time to give us reports as well. So we will be moving on, but feel free to stay, feel free to go. I'm sure you have plenty of other plans for tonight, maybe homework, maybe not, but but thank you for being here. On to our board committee reports. Let's start with Mark Snyder for curriculum.
Sounds good. So the curriculum committee met on May 6th, which was just 2 weeks after the previous meeting. In attendance were Carol Butler, Scott McCartney, Dave Tate, Jeff Airy, Sandra Alberti, Mick Weeks, Lauren Romano, and myself. So one of the things we discussed was Dr. Benton had come in for an in-person meeting with the district supervisors, and they discussed 2021 curriculum writing, the addition of language that would be needed to satisfy New Jersey compliance for cultural responsivity and diversity. And one of the things that we talked about was making sure that this additional language addresses the rationale and benefit to all students that something like this does have. It was, I should say now, the focus of the district-wide PD on 514, again, that cultural responsive teaching and learning. Then we talked about the 2021-2022 school year. Jeff Airy spoke to the potential learning management system, or LMS, that he had looked at. So they had a meeting with Canvas representatives, and at that time it was deemed that Canvas wasn't necessarily the right fit. One of the things we talked about was trying to figure out exactly what teachers and staff would like an LMS to facilitate, what are the kinds of things that it would make easier, and then sort of target the search going forward based on that. The whole idea being that we really would like to capitalize and sustain a lot of the ingenuity, the innovation that the district has seen at the classroom and building level this past year. One of the other things we discussed were the potential utilizing the ESSER funding for the future teaching positions. Obviously, these are dependent on enrollment. The goal clearly to maximize the resources available to students and decrease classroom size at a building level whenever possible. And with that, the tentative plan for utilizing these funds is 3, 1 per building, reading and math support teacher at the K-3 level, 2 UES support teachers, 1 reading and 1 math. I think the way it works out, each is part-time, but that was the way the split scheduling worked. An additional teacher at South Valley and an additional teacher at Roberts, and a school psychologist to support the entire district. And I think that the funding, while these are 1 or 2 years, that's the intent, is to sort of use these fundings going forward. And the last thing was for the professional development plan, and Carol Butler will, again, continue to plan the September, but with a handoff to Dr. Benton in July, hopefully with a lot of the legwork figured out, and then making a more substantive plan for next year's PD then. That was it.
Mark, any board members have questions? Guess not. I also did want to thank Dr. Benton. I know she was at curriculum meeting. She's here tonight, and she's transitioning, still working in her old district. So we appreciate all the extra time you're giving us in the interim, and thank you for being here tonight. We are very excited for you to come, but I know you still have some time left with your district, so thank you. Okay, no questions on curriculum. Let's move on. Jack, policy.
Okay, policy met on May 3rd. In attendance were Ms. Butler, Ms. Law, Ms. Romano, Mr. Villanueva, and myself. There's quite a number of policies on for first reading tonight. The bulk of the policies on there are mostly language changes as a result of the law changes from No Child Left Behind to the Every Student Succeeds Act. I'm going to highlight a couple of ones that aren't language changes. 2415.2 outlines complaint resolution procedures for the Every Student Succeeds Act. 6360 is expanded to capture any federally funded program. 8330 and 9713 include an opt-out disclosure for student records and military recruitment. And then just a quick review of what's on second reading here. 0145 changes board member resignation and removal from any 3 meetings to 3 consecutive meetings. 0164.6 is a process revision on how to conduct public board meetings during a declared emergency. 1642 and 1643 are changes to the Sick Leave Act and the Family Leave Act as a result of the pandemic. 5330.01 is just a language change. 7425, the lead testing of water in schools, is a mandated change from testing from every 6 years to every 3 years. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Questions? Thanks, Jack. David, Drea, and Sandra actually aren't here, so I will see if they have any minutes that they could share. They didn't share them with me. I don't believe, James, they didn't share any minutes with you that we could read.
I'd have to check.
Okay.
But I could definitely circulate.
Okay.
anything that I do have tomorrow.
Okay, that would be great. So we'll forward any minutes from David, Drea, or Sandra on any of those committees. I did want to mention the community forum. Now, I don't remember, we had moved the date June, just for Sandra, we're doing our final in the series of exploring race and racism, but I believe we are looking at June 8th more information will come out on that. I just wanted to make sure to get the date out at this meeting, but we will circulate their minutes and any reports on that. But I just want to make sure we at least put the date out for that. Anyone have any off-board committees to share reports?
I do. For more arts?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So unfortunately, I was unable to attend the meeting. My son's baseball game took precedence, but they shared with me some notes from their last meeting. So they wanted me to note that they're currently reviewing scholarship applications this week for senior awards. They also approved a grant request from Sergei Kachenko for senior choral awards. They are compiling a slate for their 2021 board. Anyone who's interested in joining the More Arts board is welcome to contact them and put their name forward by emailing morearts@mtps.com. They also wanted to extend their congratulations to Heidi Ray, who won the Governor's Award for Art, and then also Eleanor DeShong, who was the South Jersey Vocal Award winner. I think they're both Morristown High School students. And then finally, the board wanted to share their best wishes for health and much health and happiness for two outstanding people who contributed to the arts in the schools, who are both leaving, one retiring and one moving on to pursue some educational opportunities. So Chris Norris, the band director, and Sergei Kachenko, who are both leaving. And so they wanted to let everyone know it's been a pleasure collaborating with them, and I individually will echo that, knowing both of them. I have a daughter who's a madrigal as well, so definitely going to miss both of them and appreciate their efforts. So anyway, that was the update that I wanted to share from More Arts.
Great, thanks, Mick. Any other? Nope. I just wanted to actually just mention from MEF, the Morristown Education Foundation, who Lauren and I serve on as well. They are always looking for volunteers to join them, whether it's on committees or on just as the foundation itself. They do a lot of great things. Most importantly is that they fund a lot of the innovative grants that teachers put in for, and that's where a lot of the STEM money comes from, different projects that the district really doesn't have the budget for, and a lot of new and innovative things come out of the foundation. So we are always looking for more members. We're actually very light right now, so if you or you know anyone that's interested in joining the foundation, you could let myself know. Deb Tosh Chakrabarty and Georgine Wardzinski are the president and vice president, but they are always looking for, and especially now, we are looking for volunteers. I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, that's concluding our committee reports. So we are going into public comment. I think the podium is all set up for that. Hopefully the mic is working now. Can I have a motion to open the floor for public comment?
So moved.
Thank you. Second? Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. So as we move into public comment, please come to the podium and state your name and address. You will have 3 minutes to speak. As you know, this isn't necessarily a question and answer, and it's always best to follow up with an email. Please don't address board members individually, and please be respectful when making comments. We are an educational community, and we set appropriate expectations for our students, and we serve as role models, and we are aware of how there are many deeply held feelings of public interest, and we want to have community feedback. However, we just want to make sure we are respectful in the comments that we make. So thank you, and whoever wants to come to the podium first, just come up and state your name and address, please.
Good evening, Claudine Leone, 425 Oldershaw Avenue. So most of my questions are questions. So I hope someone can answer after the fact or now. It's mostly on transparency and questions related to the hiring of the interim, the hiring of the permanent, and as well as the fall plans. And I know you're doing the parent forum, but wondering if you're using or reactivating the reentry committee that had parents and teachers and community members and board members. So my first question related to the interim is, and maybe it's just a general question, or it should be on your website. What is the process? I mean, is it just the board reviewing the resumes? Or is there other people outside the board that have input in that process? So that's something, just a general question I think we should know. I don't know where it's laid out in your procedures to look at. As far as, I think Mrs. Shaw referenced the permanent selection and that she would be seeking input from the community. And I don't know if you're going to put a request for participation or how you're going to seek community input. And then finally, with the reentry, are you going to reactivate the reentry committee over the summer if there's needs to get community input? So all questions. And appreciate some sort of response, at least from the board.
Yeah, I could definitely on the interim, because I know that the interim process is basically the board reviewing. We did put out for applications, we receive applications, and it is the board reviewing the applications and we interviewed people and then calling references. So the interim, because it's a shorter period of time that this person will serve, it is a board function at this point. But the permanent search, we will select a firm, and the firm, because they're more objective, will be conducting all the community forums, the parent forums, all of that. So that process will be outlined, but we're using them to do that, and they will help us through the whole search process. I don't know if that helps at all.
Anything on the reentry committee as far as reactivating?
I mean, I'll just quickly what I think, and if James or Dave want to jump in. I'm assuming that we're pretty much going back full time, so I'm assuming we don't really need a reentry committee. That's why we are having the parent forum, and we should have the plan approved by June 15th. The Department of Ed is requesting that we approve it by June 15th. So as far as unless it comes out in the plan, I think we're waiting also for the guidance that comes out on May 24th. If they say you need a reentry committee, then we'll have to have one, but I'm assuming maybe not. But and also that's why we have the parent forum to kind of.
My request is if you do reactivate it, since it's kind of stale, that maybe you look at some of the community members that have been pretty vocal at the board meetings and, include them in the process.
Yep.
Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Laura Mattiacci, 816 Loveland Road. So first, I'm just really disappointed that we're not on Zoom. I mean, this has been so good this whole year. We've been able to log in, very busy parents. Between 200, 500, 700 parents have been able to listen in and ask questions. And it's really facilitated engagement of the community. So my first comment is I'm just really disappointed with this board that you have eliminated that, because I see this whole setup with the camera and the streaming. What could it possibly cost just to hit a Zoom button so that the community could be engaged again? So I ask you to reconsider that. The second thing is I was disappointed with the math meeting. 2:00 on a Thursday afternoon, people are working. It was a really important meeting that a lot of people wanted to go to. And then when we finally did log in, it was only 11 minutes. And we didn't get the information that we needed to hear. So one of my questions is there a replacement for the curriculum that we currently have? Or is there just an internal modification? For example, when Cherry Hill made this change, they were using a program called Eureka. And they hired Eureka, and Eureka is the new curriculum. Is that the curriculum that Morristown is going to be using? And my last question, maybe you'll just address all my questions at the end here, is can you tell me that this change to the math program is only going to be 4th and 5th grade, and there is no discussion, either in the short term or long term, to de-group or de-level the math programs from 6th through 8th grade? Can someone answer that?
Hi, thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate that. I can't answer the Zoom question. That's not for me. It's for people down the row here. As far as the math meeting, it was a little longer than 11 minutes. I mean, I was on there with Mr. Powell, Mrs. Powell, and Julie Colby. It was probably about a 20-minute conversation, and then we answered questions and answers that were presented to us. We did do the recording. We actually had it at 1 o'clock and realized that was a pickup time for the elementaries, but we were trying to do it in the afternoon and then record it for some of the parents to watch and be able to see. So it should be on our website for people to view at any time and go back and look at their leisure and to ask some questions if they need to. As far as our curriculum, we currently have a curriculum for our enriched classes and our advanced classes and our grade 4 and grade 5 classes. As Julie mentioned in the meeting, we are merging our enrichment class and our grade 4 and grade 5 classes curriculum so that we are raising the bar, so to speak, for all students at that level. And we're working with our teachers for professional development and for more differentiated instruction. And we're also revamping our challenge program. So we're going to be identifying and supporting students that typically would have been identified in the accelerated classes in our challenge programs. But the focus for it will not be just in math. It will be in multiple areas, more like STEM, science, technology, arts, math, engineering. And so we really hope that it's a more robust program. We really hope that, our goal really for all this, we've been watching the numbers for years as Julie presented in her presentation. And we believe strongly that we want to increase and strengthen the skills that the kids have in 4th and 5th grade so that when they get to 6th, 7th, and 8th in high school, that they are prepared to take the math that they're able to take and they want to take based on their career path. There is absolutely, I don't know how many times we could say it, there is absolutely no desire to change 6, 7, 8, or high school courses. None. No conversation, no, not even, we haven't brought it up in any committee meeting, we haven't talked about it at all. This grade 4 and 5 collapse, so to speak, of the programs have been a discussion internally for at least 6 or 7 years. It's not a one-year conversation. We've been waiting to look at the numbers so that we had the right data to make the right decisions. Julie Colby is available, myself as well, to help answer any further individual questions that you might have for your child. It's hard to answer everyone's question as a collective group, so we'd rather do it one-on-one. If we have it, it can be through email or phone or a Zoom meeting if that's the case. But promise you there is no change at all for 6 through 12 at all.
Okay.
Did I answer all that? I'm sorry.
Yes, no. So I guess just to clarify, because I didn't hear this during the math meeting and I did attend live and then watched it again afterwards. Are you saying the curriculum for 4th and 5th will now be what the enriched curriculum was, but it'll apply to everybody?
Yes. But the 4th enriched goes with the 4th grade and the 5th enriched goes with the 5th grade, and then it'll be a new 4th and 5th grade curriculum for them. Yes.
Okay. And so I guess just as a parent, like right now I can go on the website and I can see the pacing guide. Yep. And I can see I have a 4th grader and a 6th grader.
Okay.
As well as a kindergartner and a 4-year-old. So that's why
I'm
you're
busy.
Especially interested in this topic.
Yes,
and my 6th grader just spent 2 years in enriched and I have a rising 5th grader.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to understand. I can go on the website right now and I can see the curriculum for enriched for both 5th and 6th grade, and I can see accelerated.
Correct.
And I see the pacing.
Correct.
Can I look to one of them for what's going to happen next year, or are you going to release a whole new?
Over the summer, we're going to be merging them together to create a new document. So I would look in September for the new document.
Okay. And we're not using an outside program or paying anybody?
No. Our program is pretty advanced. If you came from the outside into one of our math programs, you typically don't qualify for our advanced classes. So we feel that the curriculum that we have written is already above the typical other districts outside of Morristown. But we are going to merge them together to create a new program for all kids in grade 4 and 5.
Okay, great. I appreciate it.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just quickly on the meetings, we are going to reevaluate how this is come our June communications meeting and see how we wanted to get this up and running. We wanted to live stream it so that people could continue to watch it and at least know what's going on. And our tech department has been quite busy with a lot of other things as well. So this was the best case scenario for us right now. We are going to reevaluate again after our June meeting. We wanted to get 2 meetings in like this to see how it goes. Any other comments?
Hi, Nicola Hampton, 725 North Stanwick. A couple of things. Firstly, I want in person to thank you all for all the work you've done in the last 18 months. full disclosure, I haven't agreed with everything, but I truly believe you've done your best at every turn, and I really appreciate that. I had a senior graduate last year, I have a senior graduating this year, and you know what, it's working. So thank you. You can't please everybody. In this case, it's hard to please anybody. This is a really tough time, and I truly believe you've done your best, so thank you. I do have one question that is related to all of this, and it's time sensitive. So the seniors are going on their trip on Saturday. Thank you, Mr. Seibel and the team, for making that happen. Those who are not vaccinated are still being asked to quarantine. That is not the requirement for the CDC or New Jersey any longer. Last week, it was taken away that even if you haven't been vaccinated, you do not have to quarantine for domestic travel. So I know it's hard to make those changes quickly, but what it means is, and my daughter's vaccinated, so this isn't personal. What it means is those kids who are coming back from the senior trip, because it had to be pushed out for very obvious reasons, are going to miss 7 or 10 days of their last 15 days of school. So I would ask you to take 10 minutes, reevaluate, talk to the experts you need to, and see if there's any way you can let those handful of kids who are not vaccinated come back to school, play their sports, see their friends, and engage in that last 2 weeks of school. It's a significant period to miss in a very small window, and they've already missed so much. So if you can, whoever does that, if you can get together and have another think and see what you can do for those kids, it would be appreciated. Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks. I'm Jill Fallows-Macaluso, and I live at 800 Golfview. And I have a couple of comments. One's very specific, and it's an area of opportunity that I'd like the board to address for the remainder of the school year, as well as for next year. And that's our policies or standards regarding mask breaks. I heard the discussion at the table this evening, and it wasn't accurate based on the experiences of my children. I have 3 students. And the masking practices for breaks are vastly different across the schools and across the different teachers. I have one daughter who's not able to take her mask off at all, except to take a sip of water occasionally, even at gym or walking around the track. And I have another daughter who's actually able to. I sort of laugh at the discussion around lunch because the elementary schools have been having lunch for months. I pack a full lunch and send her with that now to be consistent with her peer classmates. They, go outside, they go in the cafeteria, they take their masks off, they stay 6 feet apart and have lunch. So I really think the board needs to take a closer look at consistent standards and really leverage the opportunity to increase outdoor mask breaks for the health and wellness of our children, especially given the state of affairs with the governor and the CDC's loosening those requirements. So thank you for the high-level plan. I also appreciate all of your efforts. I finally do see light at the end of the tunnel. But unlike the previous speaker, I think you've worked hard, but there hasn't been a lot of proactivity or innovative spirit coming from the school district or from this Board of Education. You kind of continue to do the bare minimum and meet whatever the new standards that are coming out from the government are. So that continues to disappoint me. As a general matter, I've done a lot of reflecting over the past 12 plus months. The experiences that I've had and seen and observed through getting close to this challenge of learning during the pandemic, it's really kind of shined a light on me, on a systemic problem that I see in the school district. I think that we have a systemic culture problem. I think it's limited transparency, it's non-inclusive, and it's fraught with bias. For example, we keep hearing we want to increase inclusion, but I actually haven't seen any steps taken. In fact, I've seen steps taken backwards. For example, tonight by limiting the Zoom and ability for parents to comment virtually. So that's disappointing. I hear about the upcoming parent forums, but I'll believe it when I see it, because other things have been planned and then not happened. Second, this goes hand in hand with inclusion, and that really is this fear of speaking up. When I got involved in this in February of this year, countless parents told me their stories about being retaliated are marginalized or treated negatively in some way for speaking up about their concerns. And I have now had my own personal experiences. I think, third, from a
Just wrap it
culture.
up, Jill. I think your time is.
Okay, great. My third is we need an independent and unbiased board that doesn't act in the special interest of the, particularly the MEA. So I would just urge the board to really look at this culture problem. It transcends the pandemic, and it's important for the future of our town and the best interest of our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Tom Schneider, 209 South Lincoln Ave. I just want to caution against the board and the school pushing kids to be vaccinated, and remind everyone that this is still a clinical trial, and the trials continue until 22 or 2023. And there's absolutely zero long-term safety data. So as you try and distinguish between, kids coming back, are you vaccinated? Do they have to wear a mask? If you start doing some dichotomy there of separating kids based on whether they're vaccinated, I think we have a big problem. I know we're in the pharma capital of the world, but I think we need to slow down. The governor's pushing it, maybe the union's pushing it to push it, but I don't think it's any place for the school to be pushing experimental medical treatments on kids.
Okay. Moving on to reports to the board. Business Administrator, Board Secretary. 1, financial reports of the Board Secretary. 2, cafeteria report. 3, approval of budget transfers. 4, approval of bills. Can I please have a motion to approve items 1 through 4? Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes, abstentions? Great. Recommendations of the superintendent are next. The 2020-2021 Student Safety Data System Report, period 1. Can I please have a motion? Thank you. Second? Any questions or comments? Nope. Thank you, Sherry, for reporting on this. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next are policies and procedures. 1, first reading of policies. 2, second reading of policies. Can I please have a motion to approve items 1 and 2?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes, abstentions? Nope. Educational program, Burlington County alternate school placement for 2020-2021. Can I please have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. Any questions, comments? Nope. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Under finance and business, number 1, travel expenditures approval request. Number 2, approval of state contract and consortium vendor purchases. 3, student field trip. 4, tax schedule. 5, school health insurance fund. 6, tuition rates. Can I please have a motion to approve items 1 through 6?
Second.
Thank you. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes, abstentions? Great. Moving on to employee relations. 1 is appointments. We are going to take out support staff A. Is that correct? Yes. Number 2, leave of absence and extension to leave of absence. and 3 is retirements, and 4 resignations, 5 substitutes, 6 professional development presenters, 7 2021-2022 reappointment corrections, 2021-2022 movement on salary guide, 9 extended school year staff, and 10 ESSA Title I tutors. And we're taking out number 11 as well. Can I please have a motion to approve items 1 through 10? Everyone's tired tonight. It's not even that late. Second? Thank you. Any questions or comments? No. I
I'd
think
like to say thanks to Mr. Norris. I don't see him here. Sorry, I need to use this. I just wanted to say thanks to Mr. Norris. I don't see him here, but I know he's on the retirement list. I don't unfortunately have kids in the high school to have received the benefit of his band instruction, but I know he was always awesome to watch at the football games, and always did a great job. So thank you, Mr. Norris.
Thank you. I'm not sure. We might have retirements next meeting. In June, we'll have him here, probably Mark, just so you know. I think we need a roll call vote for this one, James, right?
Dr. Alberti? Mr. Fairchild? Yes. Mrs. Law? Dr. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Villanueva?
Yes.
Mr. Weeks? Yes. Mr. Weinstein? Ms. Romano?
Yes.
Mrs. Shaw?
Yes. Thank you. On to suspensions and HIB report. Then we have informational only enrollment information. Then we have old business. We have the school security addendum.
We do not.
Oh, we do not.
Fortunately, we looked back in the minutes and we had it put on the January 5th meeting for reorganization, just in case. So
Okay.
we are covered.
Okay, good. I've had a note to myself, but that's even better. Okay. Any new business that anyone needs, old business or new business anyone wants to share? Nope. Okay, we will have a second public comment in case anyone wants to make any additional comments. If we could have a motion to open the floor. Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone want to make any more comments, or I guess nope. Okay, motion to close public comment.
So moved.
Thank you. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. Thank you everyone for coming. It was great to see everyone in person and all my colleagues, so thank you for coming out tonight. All in favor?
Aye.
We are done. Thank you, everyone.